as always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Well, I thought about going with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. They've got a couple of options at quarterback. The Altmaier kid apparently played really well, outplayed Jackson Dart, who transferred from Southern Cal. They got two good options there. Altmaier, we saw him come in last year at times, looked pretty good. And I don't know, going to be pretty good for them to carry on offensively there after Matt Corral's going off to the NFL. But I ended up going with the USFL. How much of the USFL have you watched?
Limited? I've watched very, very minimal, and it's because it's going up against the NBA playoffs. Dude, I love the NBA playoffs. And I love football. I love it. But I don't know, man. Is the USFL, is it doing it for you?
I like it. I
like it too, but it's just like NBA. Do I want to watch Jayson Tatum or do I want to watch USFL? You know what I mean?
It's tough. Timing is tough. There's not enough time in the day to watch everything, but if basketball's not your thing and football's your thing, you got to check it out. I think it's fun. Good coaches, good players. It's not gimmicky, but they've done some really cool things. They've got some guys mic'd up, which is really cool. But I don't know. It's been cool. I think they've gotten pretty good ratings. The first week they got really good ratings. 3.5 million people were watching. I'm not sure what the ratings are week 2, especially with all the NBA playoffs going on. But I don't know. I just think it's a product that looks good. I think the broadcasts have been really good. You got some good play going on out there. It's just all in all been enjoyable to watch.
I did catch some of the New Orleans Breakers game.
Yeah.
That was beat down. Or the Bandits.
Yeah.
That was I watched some of it and I was like, oh, this is a blowout. So I turned it off. Full disclosure.
Yep. And it's they're all being played down in Birmingham, which
is the weird. Isn't that weird?
It's weird, but it's smart because one of the things that eats up a startup league is like travel costs and stuff like that, like flying everyone all over the place to play. I mean, chartering a jet to fly, 100+ people is extremely expensive. So to house everyone in the same area, the same practice facilities, and utilize all that stuff saves the league a ton of money. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's I'm a football maniac. I don't know. I love that they're doing it, and I like that it gives guys. One of the things that we talked about the lack of preseason games and some of the stuff in the NFL. Like this gives an avenue to some players that haven't been on a roster to stay active and continue to be evaluated by NFL teams. So I like that aspect of it too. Just really cool so far.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of, being a bottom of the roster guy my entire NFL career. Like I'm all for these guys having more opportunities to put stuff on tape. Right. And that's the important thing. As far as them doing everything there in Birmingham, like I get it. It's all about putting the TV product out. Like I completely understand that. But have you ever watched the PLL, that lacrosse league?
No.
They just did a big deal with they just did a big like TV deal with ESPN, and they take the league, like every team, and they travel to different cities, like for 3 or 4 day stretches, and everyone plays like in that city. And I wonder if the USFL could get to that. And you're right, like they're saving a ton of money just making it a TV product as opposed to everyone playing in their own city and stuff. So, but I wonder if they could get to that kind of traveling model, and you could go like there could be games on.
That's a good idea.
Saturday and Sunday or something like. You know what I mean?
No, that's a really good idea. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. But
it's like they could come to Oklahoma City and like during, June or what? I I haven't checked when they're going to do the USFL playoffs, but like once spring ball for OU is over, like they show up and they play at wherever, and you can go and you can watch, a couple different games or something. I don't know. Be kind of fun.
Not to go too long on this, but have I ever told you my idea for a pro football league?
I don't believe so.
The problem with like the USFL and the XFL is it's so hard to get a fan base. Like if you're a Dallas team, everyone's already a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, or like everyone's kind of already has their teams. It's really hard to get people to take on a new team. So the best way to utilize that is to go with an already existing fan base. The University of Oklahoma, all players that don't go to the NFL should have an option to play on a University of Oklahoma pro football team that goes and plays against Georgia's pro football team of guys that aren't in the NFL, and Alabama's pro football team that's not in. And you've got these huge built-in fan bases that are already there. And whether you play it in the spring or you play it on a different day in the fall, I don't know, but I think that would be cool. And you already have the built-in, everyone already knows the players and already has a good grasp of who they are.
Could you mix the teams a little bit? Could it be like Georgia and Oklahoma's team? Or is it only because like you have to have, I mean, just think of all the guys you have to have. Like you want it to be a high level of play.
Maybe you could do like, I don't know. Would an Oklahoma State team be okay?
I think that would be digestible for people, don't you? And it actually would kind of be kind of cool. We could root for the same team. That'd be weird.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got the Thunder. We do that, but
link up with the rival. But yeah, somehow, like to me, that's the only way you have a built-in fan base is the university actually has a pro football team, and they've already got a lot of the infrastructure that you would need. So I don't know, just an idea.
No, I like it. All right, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Well, I thought about going with Yankee fans. Did you see that deal?
Why were they throwing all that stuff?
I don't know.
I guess they're Yankee fans. I mean, I shouldn't be stunned.
What a wild scene. It's just, that was crazy. But I had to go with Ben Simmons. You know, the way that the trade went down, everyone's kind of been holding out hope. And I wouldn't expect that he would be of much help anyways. Okay. If you haven't played in that long and then all of a sudden you show up and play, maybe he would be, I don't know. But when Reggie Miller starts calling you out, saying you have zero competitive fire, not, facing what they're facing right now, still not going to play, that's got to suck. And it doesn't spin things very good for you, whether you're ready or not. Everyone's kind of been waiting for him to finally make that dramatic entrance and start helping out, but it's not coming.
I was not very surprised that Ben Simmons, when the reports came out that he was going to be available, like I was excited because if you get the best version of Ben Simmons, and I'm not saying like all of a sudden he'd miraculously learn how to shoot the ball. That's not like, if he's just playing defense and running in transition, like he's a great player, but I think he's kind of soft. Well, I think we've learned that from and I know it's a tricky situation, right? With the mental health situation. I understand that, but it seems like it's always something with this guy now.
I'm biased because I can't even remember who it was, but I was told that Ben Simmons was a total ass before he even went to LSU. Like, this is way back. And then he went to LSU, and as soon as he was at LSU, there was like a bunch of problems. Like he wasn't going to like class. Like it was like right from the beginning. So I have had this skewed opinion of him since before he ever played a college basketball game. but it does get the feeling like there's not much of a give a rip there, you know? And maybe I can't blame him.
I will say people are talking about him, and it's either about him not playing, or it seems like he was going to play and then they went down 3-0 and now he's not going to play. And then everyone's just talking about the outfits he's wearing on the bench.
Flashy.
Certainly getting my attention. I look at Big Ben Simmons and I'm like, hey, could I pull that off? Probably not. It's probably a strong no, but maybe I'd like to try. I don't know. Let's get weird. It would
take some adjust. You would need an adjustment. You would need to like build up to that before you just show up.
No, if you're gonna dress like that at any point, it's like a full dive into the deep end. Let's start trying this and see what the reaction is.
That's peacocking, right? Isn't that what he's doing? He's peacocking. Who wants to peacock whenever you are not playing? Let's not draw a bunch of attention to ourselves.
That's funny. I was talking to my wife about that. It's like, you would think that like he'd just be kind of laying low, some neutral colors, right?
We're like a warm up. Like you're the guys on the bench that aren't playing. Just do that.
Some blacks, some whites, some grays, maybe. But no, it's like bright green, pink. He's got like these glasses on. You're just like, all right, man. But his back hurts. So
yeah.
Are we supposed to feel bad for him still?
Well,
were we ever supposed to? Listen, and I am big on the mental health side of things. Like I've talked a lot about, how I had to address some things when I was playing in the NFL and stuff like that. Like I've talked a lot about that, but at what point are you like, this guy just does he even want to play?
Again, I'm biased, but almost everything that he's ever done since that person told me that before he ever played in college has reinforced what that person told me. Everything he's ever done. So I don't know. I don't know if I feel bad for him or not. He's had a ton of great opportunity. And for whatever reason, it doesn't look like it's ever been worth his full attention.
Interesting. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all, whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone. Everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total of more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank with First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information.
And if you are a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you're doing, head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage Single Malt Whiskey. It was just voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn Whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That's the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones Pot Still Bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year-round. Remember, in 2012, Balcones Single Malt won the Best in Glass competition, beating brands like Johnny Walker and Macallan, became the first American distillery to win the competition. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, then Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners, yes, they are from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com. All right, for my winner of the weekend, let's talk some Formula One, Ted.
Yes.
I know this is becoming your favorite part of the podcast.
Favorite part of the podcast.
I thought about going with Red Bull's Formula One racing team. Dominant performance at the Imola Grand Prix, which, by the way, is in Italy. I think I'm saying that right.
Wondering.
Imola. I believe it's I think it could be wrong. It could be Imola. I think it's Imola, though. That's what they said on the broadcast, at least.
Nice.
But 1-2 finish for Red Bull. So 1-2 for Verstappen and Perez. Max Verstappen won a race. Shocker. But can't get much better than a 1-2. This is where it gets interesting, Ted. Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes, they're struggling, man.
Uh-oh.
And I mean like actually struggling. I don't mean like they're finishing, like he finished like third. He finished 13th. Now,
Wow.
I will say George Russell, who's his teammate from Mercedes, did finish fourth. Hell of a drive from George Russell. But, Ted, this is the part where I educate you about a little thing called porpoising.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a dolphin? You understand?
Yeah.
Like a porpoising? Like the up and down? They got a bad porpoising problem, man. And I went down kind of a rabbit hole. And I was like, okay, I'm going to explain the complex physics, the aerodynamics, like what's going on with the air under the car, over the top. And I was like, I can't do that. I was literally just going to repeat everything I watched on this video. That would have been stupid. This is what's going on. This is the simple way to describe Mercedes' issue, right? Remember, they made all the changes to the Formula One cars, the tires, like all these things. Basically, what is happening is the aerodynamics of the car are off. So the car is basically bouncing up and down a ton while these guys are driving it. And that doesn't sound like a ton of fun, driving a car that is doing that when you're driving like over 150 miles per hour, like the front's just lifting and you're just bouncing. That doesn't sound like a fun time for George Russell and for Lewis Hamilton. And hearing these guys' radio calls where they're just like, oh, this is painful. It's so hard. Like they're just sitting there like bouncing in the car. It looks brutal, man. Porpoising.
Well, Team Mercedes should be pissed. What's going on here? This is what the offseason is for, right? Get that damn car in the wind tunnel and figure out the aerodynamics. Let's get out on the test track. What was Hamilton doing? Partying on yachts all off season? Let's go. These issues should have been figured out before the season ever started. It doesn't just start porpoising out of nowhere, right? If the aerodynamics have not changed, this should have been fixed way back before the season started.
From my understanding, they've had a pretty constant porpoising problem and they just can't figure it out. And there's some other teams that are also having this issue, but this is like this team has been
packs.
They've been dominant, and I know that Verstappen won last year, right? But Mercedes has been like the standard in this sport for quite some time, and the fact that it's as bad as it is, just listening to the comments from the drivers, like it's nuts.
Are they blaming Formula One for the issue with changing the cars?
They seem to be taking full responsibility themselves that they can't figure this thing out. Toto Wolff, I don't think you know who Toto Wolff is. He seems like
that he needs to start blaming Formula One, not himself, if he wants to keep his job.
He seems like an ultra confident guy. Some very uncharacteristic statements from him lately. Like they seem confused, man. It's a big deal. Big deal in the sport.
Brutal.
But yeah, Verstappen won. Shocker. But my win of the weekend, Boston Celtics. Got the win in Brooklyn Saturday night. Went up 3-0 in that series. It's crazy to think that you look at the NBA playoffs and now that Denver got a win, right? That the Nets may be the only team that gets swept. And
crazy.
I watched that entire game Saturday night. Jayson Tatum was the best player on the floor. And Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were on the same floor. He's awesome. And he's been awesome the last couple of months. And, you know, the 39 points are one thing, but like the guy he's become on the defensive end the guy, like he's taken pride and how he's playing on the defensive end of the floor and making he's making, along with the other guys, they're using what I like to call the football formula. The more physical team is winning, man. They're just beating them up. They're making Durant's life miserable. And they're making it really tough on them every possession, him and Kyrie. And I know Kyrie's doing the fasting thing and like that. That doesn't make things any better. But Durant took 11 shots in that game. And he had to work his ass off to get those 11 shots up. I mean, they were all over him. They have so many guys they can throw at them. Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Time Lord's back, Robert Williams. I mean, hell, even Al Horford can stay in front of these guys when he gets switched on them in the pick and roll stuff. I'm not cheering for the Celtics. I want to make that really clear because it kind of sounds like I'm going to cheer for the Celtics. That's not going to happen, but I enjoy watching the effort this team is playing with right now. And for them to be bought in on the defensive end of the floor like they are, and to have, one of the best shot makers in the league right now in Tatum, they're fun to watch. And it feels like over these last couple months, Jayson Tatum has elevated himself in the ranks of NBA players. With the way he's playing right now, I don't know if there's 5 to 6 players that I'd take instead of him. He's 24 years old, dude.
Yeah.
And size, length, athleticism, attitude, shot making, defense, he is taking a step, and it's fun to watch. Yeah. Can't believe I was just so complimentary of the Celtics. I feel gross.
I know. I will go back and explain the Kyrie fasting thing.
I believe he practices Islam.
Ramadan,
correct.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Interesting.
Which, hey, do what you got to do. But that when you talk about playing in the NBA playoffs and not being able to eat or drink anything.
What is it? Is it just at night?
It's when the sun's up.
So it's when the sun's up. So I have it reversed. I
believe so. Let me check, because it'd be really embarrassing if I got that wrong. Say something about Kyrie.
Well,
Ramadan fasting rules.
Kyrie.
From dawn to dusk. So is that dawn to dusk?
During the day.
That's during the day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had it right? Did I have it right, or did you have it right?
Yeah, you had it right.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. That sounds so you're playing in the playoffs. That was probably just the stupidest minute in the history of this podcast. Us being like, wait, what? But yeah, so you got that. And then Durant, to me, looks worn out. He just, and it's because the Celtics are making him have to work so hard to get his shots and just get space. But also, you go back and look at some of these minutes he's logged this year just to get him into the playoffs. I think he's getting old, man. A lot of miles. I think he's worn out. I think he's tired.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. He's taken an interesting path, man. Kevin Durant has. And I'm sure it's got to be weighing on him. It's got to be really frustrating to be where they are right now.
Yeah. He joined up with Kyrie Irving. That's a strategy. And I'll say this about the Celtics, the turnaround this year, one of the crazier things I've seen in pro sports.
Yep.
They're good. I wouldn't be surprised if they win it all. I really wouldn't. If they can stay healthy, that's always the key, right? In these playoff runs.
Maybe Philly.
Embiid's hurt.
Yeah.
Thumb. And I don't he can still score, right? Like, remember the night it happened and it came out, right? He's going to have surgery after the year, torn ligaments in that thumb. He said it publicly, he's just not the same rebounder. Like, it's affecting his rebounding. And it's just bad timing, right?
Is Golden State going to win it?
They might. Have you watched Jordan Poole, dude? He's awesome.
Wow.
This is as wide open as the NBA playoffs has felt in I don't know how long. It's going to be fun.
Well, I guess it's not a changing of the guard if Golden State is back, but like with LeBron being out of it again and.
Oh, don't worry. He tweeted that he will not miss the playoffs again in his career.
Okay.
He put that out in the ether. Ain't happening again.
Good. Wild.
I'm not sure he's looked at their cap situation for next year and who's locked in and who's not. Maybe you should take a look at that. He is the GM.
Yeah. They've got, well, now that Luol Deng is finally off of the books, they can maybe go sign some other people.
Nice. All right. For my loser of the weekend. What was the woman? What was she trying to do at the Grizzlies Timberwolves game?
What is going on?
What are these people
series?
doing?
Is it someone every game in this series has done something crazy?
We had Glue Lady.
Yeah.
Was that in the play-in game or is that in game one of this series? I think it might have been in the play-in game. I don't remember. But we had Glue Lady. Then we had Chain Yourself to the Stanchion Lady.
Plastic Chain Lady, yeah.
Plastic Chain Lady. And now we have Rush the Court and get smoked by the most aware security guard of all time. Like, listen, great anticipation. There was some film study that went into that, like the recognition. Saw the friend pull out the phone, get ready to record it. The reaction time, solid form tackle, got the hands behind the back too, flipped it like flawless execution. That is dedication to the craft right there.
It's, after you've had those previous two episodes, not a good time to go storming the court. They're prepared. They're ready.
It was just a beautiful, beautiful all-around play by the security guard. Everything about it, just incredibly well done.
Awesome.
But my loser of the weekend, I'm going with college football graduate assistants. A lot of people know them as GAs because this came out last week that there are going to be some changes, right? Because now when you look at a GA's life, they're already doing the worst stuff, right? They're doing all the film breakdown, all the tagging of the film. They're doing all the busy work that no one wants to do is what they have to do. And that creates some long hours. It's not an easy gig, but it's kind of a rite of passage up the coaching ladder. Well, the NCAA playing rules oversight panel approved 3 things this week, and I am assuming that 2 of these things that were approved will make GA's jobs even worse. Because the first thing they approved, we've all been asking them to make adjustments to the targeting rule, right? We're hoping maybe it could be a tiered thing, like, hey, one's a 15-yard penalty, the other you get kicked out. Like, if it's just
egregious.
It was egregious. You were trying to hurt a guy, right? You're launching at his head, like all that stuff. So we're all hoping maybe we would get to that system at some point, but it's unlikely, right? With how the optics of player safety. So the oversight panel, the rules oversight panel made this adjustment. If a player gets ejected for targeting in the second half of a game, in a game that has instant replay, conferences will have the ability to appeal the decision with video evidence to the NCAA National Coordinator of Officials to try to convince them that a player shouldn't miss the first half of the next game. So I guess this is like an appeals process, if you will. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Isn't that kind of just saying then that your refs got it wrong? But okay, whatever. But then I realized who's going to be in charge of pushing the conference to do that and putting the clips together and writing the report and all that stuff. It's going to be GA's, Ted.
Yep.
It's going to be one more thing. And then
add that to the list of other reports you're putting together: third down report, short yardage and goal line report.
And the other thing that the rules oversight panel approved was schools can now submit complaints basically about teams faking injuries during games. So if the national coordinator of officiating deems it necessary, then the fakers can be disciplined. You submit your report. They say, oh, you're right, they were faking injuries. Then there's going to be some type of disciplinary process. Guess who's going to have to put together those videos of the opposing team faking injuries and have to write that report and submit that complaint?
Here's the problem too, is that is not going to be on film. The film starts right before the snap and it goes off right after the snap. They're going to be searching through the TV footage, which brings on a whole new level.
Well, if you're at home, there is a continuous feed cam.
Yeah, that's true.
Way up top where you see everything and it never turns off. So they're going to be combing through that. It's going to be, I mean, I saw this, and the other thing it was a block below the waist thing. Like you can do it in the tackle box. You can't outside the tackle box anymore. It is what it is. But those two things, I was just like, oh my gosh, graduate assistants, buckle up. You're going to have some more work to do.
Hey, I would say that I would be on board if a trainer has to come on the field for you, you shouldn't be able to come in the rest of the quarter.
Rest of the quarter? What happens if it happens on like the second play of the quarter?
Well, if you're hurt, well, then you shouldn't lay on the field if you're not hurt.
I feel like that's a little too much. I could get on board maybe with you can't go back in the rest of the possession, maybe, but the rest of the quarter, that's a lot.
Don't go down if you're not hurt.
What happens if like you get the wind knocked out, like you take a helmet straight to the gut, and you're just like, you're gasping. You're like,
if you're laying on the ground because you got the wind knocked out of you, you shouldn't be able to come back in the game, period.
All right.
All you do is hold your breath, wait for the spasm to release, and you'll be fine.
I'll say this. I can't wait to see which OUGA gets the fake injury report submissions, because that's going to happen this season with the tempo they're going to play with on offense. Oh, my
God, I know. It's going to happen nonstop.
Yeah.
Well, what's the punishment?
I don't know. I couldn't really find the details on it. I don't know if they've established the discipline structure. I don't know. What do you just call them and tell them, say, not cool, man, don't do that, or like suspend them? You guys can't find the kids.
Don't do it. Don't do it today. Yeah. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.